In this video, we're going to take a look at 3 great features of using G Suite in the Google Apps. They are version history, sharing, and collaboration. The first thing we're going to take a look at is version history. So if you've ever used our version of Office, you've probably experienced those apps freeze on you, they may have crashed, and you may or may not have actually lost some work. One of the benefits of using G Suite in the Google Apps is the fact that your work is saved all the time instantly to Google Drive. But the other benefit of that is not only is your work saved, but the various versions of that work are saved too. So if you ever feel like you need to go back and check some of the work you've done, there's a great way to do that. So as I load up my document here called version history, once that loads, you will see in the top center here that it tells you the last time edits were made. But as I hover over it, you'll also see that it's telling me that all versions that I've made are available in Drive. So if I click that link, it's going to open this window here. And on the right, it's going to show you your version history, which will typically be by date and time. In some of the instances, you might see this triangle here, which tells you there's some more expanded options from within that time frame. And as you click through them, you'll see the changes that you made and see what it looked like before you made those changes. If you find the version that you prefer, you like that better, you can have the option to restore that by clicking restore. Just going to have you confirm that you want it done that way, and it'll bring your document back to that version. Now we're going to take a look at some of the sharing features within Google Drive. In Google Drive, you have the ability to share any folder or file that you have within your Drive. So let's start with folders. If I right-click on a folder, it's going to have me bring up my share options. And by default, it's simply going to ask you who you want to share it with. This is fortunately tied to our directory here, so it's very easy to find anyone at school. Once I choose who I want to share this with, then it's going to say what type of permissions do I want them to have. By default, they're going to have the ability to add files, organize them, and edit them within the folder, but maybe you only want to give them the option to view. Having the ability to share folders and documents is really useful in a number of ways, but some of the ways that I can think of that pertains to us here at school would be if you're a teacher, this would be a really great way to have your students submit their work. You could create a shared folder, share it with all of them, and then they can submit their files to that folder directly to you. If you're a student, maybe you're working on a group project. This would be a great way to collaborate amongst your classmates, and you guys could keep all of your work in one location while everyone still has access to everything. There's a few small changes to the permissions that you can add when you're sharing a document versus a folder. So you'll see here what it says is you have the ability when you're sharing a document with someone, they can either edit it so they can work on it, they can comment so maybe they can leave you some feedback on the work, or maybe they can just view it. The sharing options are a great segue into the last feature I want to show you guys today, which is the collaboration options you have within the Google Apps. I've made this document here called Collaboration, and I've made it within our team account so I can demonstrate what it looks like when you're sharing with someone. So if you haven't already, you would want to share the document with the person you want to collaborate with. In this instance, I've shared it with my personal account. So I have 2 screens here so I can show you what it looks like on the other side. After I've shared the document, the person that you've invited to will get an email asking them to open the document. Once they click that link, they're now looking at the same document that you are. Now from your perspective in the top right, you'll see anyone who is looking at the document with you. If they have a picture on their Google account, it'll show their picture. If they don't, you can just hover over the icon that shows up to see their name, but it also has a color underneath that box, and that color will represent their cursor. So you'll see here I have a pink box under my picture, and that pink cursor represents where the other person is when they're working on the document. So now I'm back in my personal account, which is the account that created the document, but because I have editing privileges, I'm free to make changes to that document. Any changes that I make will be reflected instantly to the original creator if they're still logged in, or next time they log in when they check the document. But let's say that the person who shared the document with me doesn't want me to make any actual changes to it. Maybe they just want some feedback. So I'm going to undo these changes, and I'm going to switch over to a new tool. In the top right, underneath the share button, there is this pen icon. When I click that pen icon, it'll show you the different options you have for editing. By default, it'll be editing if you have editing privileges, but I'm going to change this to suggesting. So now that I'm in suggesting mode, I'll show you what that looks like. Any changes that I make to the document, rather than actually taking effect, they're going to show up on the right-hand side as suggestions. So I'm going to make 2 here, one for this paragraph, one to make this font a little bit larger. Now remember, our team account, I'm currently in my personal account, was the original creator of this document. So they're the ones who then can approve or deny suggestions. So let me get back to our team account. And from their perspective, if you're the original creator of the document, you'll see all the suggestions that were made by other people. And you have a few options that you can do here. If I click on them, I can approve or deny that suggestion. If I approve it, the edit will actually take effect. If I deny it, it will go back to the way that it was. And you also saw that you have the ability to reply to that person within that field. Maybe you want some more clarification about why they recommended that suggestion. So thinking back to those examples that I used earlier, this feature I think would be really helpful if you were a teacher. I can see you working on an essay with a student, and this would be a great way to offer some proofreading or some content suggestions. If you're a student working on a group project, this would be a great way to work on the project with your classmates. The last thing that I wanted to talk about with collaboration is up in the top right next to the icons that shows who's working on the document with you. You'll see this icon that enables a chat, and this just provides you a chat space so that while you're working on a document with someone and you're not in the same location, you can be discussing ideas while working on the document together. We want to help everyone become as comfortable as possible with G Suite and the Google apps, so if you have any other questions, let us know at tech@sch.org. We're going to have more videos on our YouTube channel, and if you feel like you need more training, sign up for a Teacher Talk, which is a 30-minute one-on-one training session with a tech lifeguard where we cover whatever you would like. There's a link in the description below to sign up.